Okay. So we're now recording the workshop. So I can, for anyone who is watching the workshop after the event or watching a recording, you haven't missed a thing. So we're going to jump into the syllabus and curriculum. And can you guys see this? I hope you can see this. Great. I'm going to keep the group chat there so I don't miss anything. All right, so this is your best friend, your enemy, depending on how you want to see it. But this document is going to be your path to success on the bar course. Without this document, you're not going to know what you need to do. And just because it's important, I thought maybe we just touch on who the BSB is and what they do. So the BSB is our regulator at the bar, and essentially their job is to set the standards and requirements that we have to meet in order to practice as a barrister. So every time you see anything from the BSB, that's what it is, and they oversee our assessments. So the contents page, you would be familiar with this by now. It's very straightforward. So everything for civil litigation, you've got these 22 syllabus topics here. And of these 22 syllabus topics, they will all be examined in different questions in the assessment. They might not be asked in the way that they're ordered here, but generally, if you look at the way this is ordered, it is chronological. So it follows the different stages of a civil litigation trial or case. It's not a trial. So when you're studying, when you're on the bar course, you're going to constantly make recourse to this document because it's going to tell you what you need. And this is why having the skill of being able to read the white book is going to significantly make your life a lot easier. So here's my very old 2018 white book, and here are all the tabs in my white book. Let me turn it this way as well. So this is where, when I was studying and reading the white book, what I was doing as I was going along, and this is what it looked like by the end of the course. There are multiple volumes of the white book, and there are also supplements. And essentially, this book has all the civil procedure. I was just showing you my white book if you look at my video, Christina, then you'll see it. I was just showing you here. So the civil procedure rules set out what all of the court procedure is going to be in relation to all of these different things. So general matters, limitation, pre-action conduct, everything here has a rule, and the rules are contained in the white book. It's called the white book because it's white. That's it. In other procedural books, they're green, and so they're called the green book. So there we go. So I asked earlier what we want to look at, and people said summary judgment, default judgment. So let's do that. That should be here. So syllabus topic 10. So step 1, when you are studying. Sarah, I just used the volumes based on where the references were. So volume 1 was where I had most references for the syllabus, and so I used that more, but you still had to use volume 2. I do believe volume 2 has the rules for relief from sanctions or something. I don't know. I might have made that up. But volume 2 I used when I needed to. Okay, I need to take a sip of my tea because my throat hurts a lot. Thank you very much for bearing with me, all of you. I really appreciate it. Okay, so when you look at this syllabus document, the first thing you're going to see is the title of the syllabus topic. Great. Default judgment and summary judgment. I would suggest to you that there are different stages where different texts are going to be helpful. If you are still at the stage where you look at defaults and summary judgment and you're like, what is that? Then my recommendation is take a step back, go back to your lecture slides and recordings if you have them, or your civil litigation textbook. Go to an introductory text. If you're not able to immediately recognize and understand what the headline syllabus topic is and what it refers to. If you're not able to do that, then go to the introductory text. Once you are aware, okay, I know what default judgment and summary judgment are, then you're ready to move on to the next stage of your study process. So these three headings: default judgments, applications to set aside, and summary judgments. Okay, so now you know all of the main topics in this syllabus area. You are aware of what the main headline topics are going to be, and you know that there are rules for these headline topics. So this is where my spreadsheet that I created can be very helpful, but you can also go through this yourself. This next paragraph here that says examinable material will consist of claims in which default judgment may be obtained, conditions to be satisfied for default judgment, procedures for obtaining default judgment, nature of judgment obtained, default judgment in claims against more than one defendant, evidence on requests and applications for default judgment, setting aside or varying default judgment, grounds for summary judgment, proceedings in which, so you can see here now we start a summary judgment, proceedings in which summary judgment is available, procedure for obtaining summary judgment, evidence at a summary judgment hearing, the court's powers on a summary judgment application, and setting aside orders for summary judgment. Basically, it follows the same headline topic areas as default judgment. But you can see applications to set aside is very important, because what they're trying to say is that we want you to know how you obtain a default judgment, but we also want you to tell us how you set aside a default judgment or vary it or set aside a summary judgment. So this is when you look at this paragraph of text and it can look a bit intimidating. It's very intimidating when you look at it like this. And that's why it can be really helpful to break this apart and see what are all of the different rules and where do they lie in the syllabus or in the CPR. So you can see here at the bottom, after they've told you the topics they want you to look at, they've highlighted here the CPR they want you to look at, and they also say the level at which they're going to assess. So you can see will be assessed at a level covering the civil procedure rules, relevant practice direction provisions, and the leading case law authorities. Okay, so you know that for these CPR rules, they want you to know what are the rules, what are the relevant practice directions, and what is the case law authorities. And let me break that down a little bit more. So the rules are going to be, when we look at the white book in a minute, the rules are going to be the actual rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4. That's just going to say what the rule is. Okay. The practice direction, as you guys will be familiar from your studies, or if you haven't quite caught onto this element yet, the practice direction is just that. It gives directions for practice. So if there is a requirement, I think it's rule 16 point something, if there's a requirement that you need to file a particulars of claim, the practice direction, PD 16, is going to tell you how to file that particulars of claim and what needs to be in the particulars of claim. And if you look at it that way, you can see you need the rule, but you also need the practice direction, which tells you how to apply the rule. And as you all remember, because this is England, we still have the common law. We still have case law that provides precedent, that provides guidance, that tells you what the court is going to do in different scenarios. And that's when we need the leading case law authorities. Now, this is where you and your white book need to become friends. Your white book will have all of these three things. It will have the CPR, it will have the practice direction, and it will have the case law authorities. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here with CPR 13.3. And before I go to CPR 13.3, I want to show you the syllabus spreadsheet. So the reason why I want to show you this is because when I study, this is what I would keep alongside me. And what I've broken it down, so this is just here where it's syllabus topic 10. But if you go to the top of the spreadsheet, you can see I've broken it down by what's the syllabus topic and number, what is the topic, description, scenario, like what areas does this cover? And then as we saw in that big paragraph of text, you can, let me reshare my whole screen and then just put these two windows side by side. Bear with me. Okay, pardon me. Okay, so you see here where we're being asked to look at this paragraph. Where I've put topic in the spreadsheet, I've broken this apart and then actually attached it to the relevant statute or CPR next to it. So if we go down to syllabus topic 10, we can see here, I've taken all of the examinable material and, you can find the meaning of default judgment in CPR 12.1, or, you can see it's all out here. So what this helps you to do when you are looking at your rules and your white book and doing all of this work that we're going to go through next is that you can track your progress as you go along. And on the spreadsheet, the different fields you've got are, have you marked the CPR? So marking the CPR, which we'll go over, that's putting these tabs in. And have you read the chapter of a book? Did you make notes? Have you answered the class questions? Have you compared with Moodle answers? Have you produced flashcards or whatever your revision style is? And have you practiced SBA questions? And then I've also left a field here for you to put any notes for yourself as you're studying. Now, the reason why I really highly encourage you to do that is it allows you to see at a glance how far along you've gotten with particular areas of the syllabus. Because as you'll see, once we start looking at the CPR, things can get a little bit difficult. And you can lose where you are if you don't track your progress. So with that being said, let's have a look at the white book. So I'm just gonna stop the screen share for 1 second. Sarah, do you encourage us to do it at the beginning or when we start revision? I think that my syllabus spreadsheet is designed to help you track your knowledge from the start of the course to the finish. But if you are revising and you need something you're going to do a lot of work very quickly, or you want to organize all of your revision, something I found helpful when it came to revision season was to have the spreadsheet here, pull open my Google Drive, get my folders out, and go topic by topic and use the spreadsheet and tick off what I had covered. And by the end, it took me like a few days to do that. But once I'd done that, I knew from that point everything I'd covered and what I hadn't covered. And what I didn't show you on the spreadsheet is that you can mark it. So you can say yes, or you can go unfinished if you started it but didn't finish, or you can go no. And then you can see, you can just see immediately at a glance what needs to be covered. Okay, so let's go back to our syllabus document. So we know here, then we go to the second part, you see it just said, these are just going to be assessed at a level limited to the wording. So let's get into it and actually pick up our white book. So CPR 12.1 to 12.6. All right. So you can see this is why my syllabus spreadsheet is helpful, because I've actually broken down between 12.1 and 12.6 what all of those different topics are per CPR. And so, yeah, I just want to remind you guys that I want you to see the rationale behind why I created this, because I want it to be a helpful aid to your study and your revision. And I want you to have a look at it and think about if this is the way you organize your knowledge, or if you think that this would be a helpful way to organize your knowledge, just to think about getting this, because it helped me immensely and it's helped a lot of people who have purchased it already. So let's go. We're going to pull open our white books now. So if you could just grab your white book, get it in front of you. Now, something that I will go into, because I do know that a few people have yet to get access to a physical copy of the white book. That is very possible. But I want to also show you the online way of doing this. I just want to pull up our chat because I don't want to miss any messages from you guys. No, the file, okay, so I've just checked some of the questions. Do you recommend this approach with Blackstone's as well? Yeah, so let me explain the syllabus spreadsheets. So the syllabus spreadsheets are available here on the Shop Blessing at the Bar website. I have syllabus spreadsheets for criminal and civil litigation. And you can get both of them in a bundle, so you can get both at once, or you can get just civil litigation or just criminal litigation. So they are available here as a digital download, and then as soon as you get this, you download it and it's yours. And so I'll put this link here. So this is a link to all of the syllabus spreadsheets on my website, and I'll put it here in the chat. So I had a question about, are we required to memorize everything on the syllabus? Oh, thank you, Christina. I'm so glad that they've been helpful. Can I please ask you guys to do me a favor? If you've bought the syllabus spreadsheets and you've enjoyed them, please go to the Shop Blessing at the Bar website and leave your feedback, because I really want you, other students, to see your experience with them. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, honestly, you guys, what I did is, because I graduated from the course a year ago, and whilst my friends were still on the course, I, shared the syllabus spreadsheets with them, because I wanted them to give me their honest feedback. So these were already tested by bar students for a year before I put them up for sale. So I've made sure that I've gotten good feedback before I put them up for you guys. And because it's a digital download, the cool thing is I can always update them. So if anything were to change with the syllabus, or if something new was to be added, I'm sure that won't happen, but I could just send you a direct update to the document, and you would just be able to merge your changes. So yeah. So I made sure, so Flor, yeah, so when I made these rounds of spreadsheets, I did check the syllabus from the year before, because I think the Bar Standards Board doesn't release the next year's syllabus until around this time. So all of the references that are in there they're still correct, but you have to check the amendments. And so I'm doing that for you. So what I'm doing is, for any of the amendments that have been made, I'm just sending updates all at once. I had to wait to get all of the new syllabus. So I needed to get the civil, criminal, and I needed to see if there were any changes to ethics as well. I will explain, but thanks, you guys. No, they love to change it every so often. So what I'll say, So the Floor, the updates just you get an email straight away from me as soon as I've updated it. And I will say, even when the white book goes to print, they will make amendments to the CPR or whatever. And that's why you've got those supplement books. So my recommendation for you is to always double check on the syllabus document when you're studying, see if they're asking you to check the white book supplement. Because like I said, printing a book like this and then setting a bunch of exams on it, it's always going to change. So that's why I prefer doing things digitally and doing digital downloads, because then I can, like I said, just send you guys the updates as soon as you need them. So to clarify, 1 second. Sorry, I was just replying to a message. But yeah, if you have any questions at all about the spreadsheets or any of the other things on the store, I was gonna talk about that with you guys once we have finished this. So yeah, keep asking me questions. So, okay, let's do this. So if we go to CPR 12.1 or just CPR 12, I'm going to go over how you can effectively read this to get everything you need for the exam. So this is volume 1 of the white book. So, okay, we can see here, based on the left side of the screen where we've got our BSB document, and the right side of the screen where I've got my syllabus spreadsheet, we can see what the topics are in which CPR it applies to. So when I'm studying, I just use my spreadsheet because I'd already plotted all of the information on there. So realistically, we'll only be looking at the right side of the screen, but I just wanted you guys to see it so you can see what it looks like. So the first thing you do is you look at the CPR rule itself. So you can see in bold, it will have what the meaning of defaultment judgment is, and it will provide the definition. And you look again at your CPR or your syllabus document, and you can see they've already told us they're only assessing it at a level limited to the wording of the relevant CPR and or practice direction. So cool. When we look back at this, the wording is all in bold. So they want us to know that in these rules, default judgment means judgment without trial, where a defendant A has failed to file an acknowledgement of service, or B has failed to file a defense. And then it'll have in brackets underneath that. So we're looking at CPR 12.1. I'm sure you guys have got different page references for the latest edition of the white book. So yeah, people share your, thank you, Sheena and Isabella. Yeah, so it's in the 1920 version of the white book, it's page 531. And I think in the latest version is 542. Okay, so what I would do at this stage is, this is when I would take a tab, and you can see here this green tab. This is when I would put a tab and say meaning of default judgment. So the reason I would do that now is because this is a fairly straightforward CPR reference. I don't need to look at anything else. And they've said in the syllabus document that I don't need to look at anything else. And when you're just looking at the rules that they've said they're only going to look at it in terms of the wording, then you're good. So you could just go through. You can see even in the syllabus document here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then you're looking at it, and you know that when you're making your notes or whatever you want, you just need to read the parts in bold, because they haven't asked you to look at anything else. However, let's look at a slightly different piece of information. So we go to CPR Rule 13.3. So before we go to 13.3, I've got a question. I didn't tab every CPR, Tiana. I just did the main definitions because I would use my tabs when I was, doing something like civil advocacy or something like that. I just need to get the headline from looking down at my white book. So let's go to CPR Rule 13.3, which we can see from the white book, sorry, the syllabus document here, and also the syllabus spreadsheet, refers to cases where the court may set aside or vary judgment entered under Part 12. So basically, where can the court set aside or vary a default judgment? So let's flip over a few pages to CPR Rule 13.3. Now, they've said that this part is going to be assessed at a level covering the CPR, PDR, and leading case law authorities. So that almost invariably means we are going to have to read the commentary. Now, again, if you can't be bothered to be doing all of this business of going through and highlighting, like if I could show you before I started using my spreadsheet method, my syllabus document, I was trying to cross off CPR and tick CPR. It just looked horrible and messy and I hated it. And I could never tell. So for example, here, they've asked us to read 13.3.1 to 13.3.5, but I might not know whether I've read that and I've read CPR 13.3, and then I'm like, ew, and it's just, I hate it, because when I come back to try and use the same CPR for a different piece of work, I just don't even want to look at this document, and I have to spend so long getting my brain to figure out what work we're doing. But when it was on the spreadsheet, it was so easy because I could just look and see it. Oh, good, I've done the rule and I've read the commentary. So I know that I've read everything I need, or if I've made flashcards, so on and so forth. So let's start looking, oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. So let's start looking at the commentary section. So we can see we were asked to look at CPR 13.3, okay? So we look at the bold parts of that, and that's given us the general principles. When the court may, lovely. Now we've got 1, 2, amazing. But we've been also asked to look at 13.3.1 to 13.3.5. This is a commentary reference. How do you know you are being required to read the commentary? Because it's a subparagraph, and barristers love lists. There's nothing a barrister loves more than a list that goes 1, 1.1, 1.11. So you know that when it's 13.3.1, that means it's the first paragraph of the subparagraph under Rule 13.3. So it's the first paragraph of the commentary under 13.3. And that is when you will go to Rule 13.3, and then you will follow your finger down, and then you'll find 13.3.1. Woohoo! We found our white book commentary. But wait, this is a very long piece of commentary. This is a very long piece of commentary indeed. So you have a look and you think, well, what do you want me to see? And this is when the white book becomes an enemy more than a friend. Because unless they've told you only the first paragraph of 13.1, that means they do indeed want you to read every subparagraph under 13.3. And if you look, sorry, it's a bit fiddly. I know you can't see this super clear. I was going to have a big fancy camera set up, but we didn't do that today. So 13.1 starts here. So you look at that, and they've just said 13.1, then you follow. Paragraph 13.2 starts here. You follow. You turn the page. 13.3 starts here. Cross the page. 13.4 starts here. And 13.5 starts here. And they want you to read all of that. So can you imagine if you had only read the first headline 13.3, you would not be aware of any of the information in here, all the way down here and up to here that they had wanted you to see. And you can see where they've asked you to see, we will assess you at a level covering the CPR, PDR, and case law. There is no case law section of the white book. All of the case law is in the commentary. So all of the case law they want you to know is all in here. Which, you know, is fine, but it makes you realize that you may at first have thought, oh, wicked, great, only 5 paragraphs to read. But alas, no, it was 3 pages of information. So effectively using your white book, guys, means understanding what are you supposed to be reading within the white book and what can the white book show you. So you know when you need the rule, you go to CPR 13, part 13. When you need the practice direction, you go to the end of the part that you've been looking at, and then you look at the practice direction. Not every CPR has a practice direction, but where they do, you know that the white book will give that to you at the end. So let's do that again. And do you have any questions so far? I hope this is helpful, because when somebody showed me this with the white book, it changed the game. Sure, let's go over the approach to tabbing. So if we take another CPR with some white book references, so practice directions. So let me break this down. CPR is the part. So part 13 contains all of the CPR rules that begin with 13. And then you move on to the next areas, and that is the practice directions, and those are at the end of the part. And then you go to the case law references, and those are contained in the paragraphs of the commentary. So I'm just going to quickly pause my screen share and just pull up the latest. Okay, great. So I've got so this is very helpful. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the way they've set it out in the most recent. Just going to download that file, and I'm going to share that file with you guys here. Oh, legend. Thank you, Tiana. So let's open this up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in the most recent version. Let me just share my screen. Okay, cool. So let's go to part 10. So page 14. Here we are. So you can see it's the same thing, but same thing, 13.3. And you can see here, they've just told you the paragraphs, and you got more here. So when you are looking at your work and you're trying to figure out what do I need to know? Where can I find it? You want to follow that process. You want to start, one, what does the syllabus document say? And what does it want me to do? And what does it want me to look at? And how detailed does it want me to look at it? And that's where you'll find all of that here in the syllabus document. So in terms of tabbing, I tab where it says limited to the wording. I tab the ones that have very specific wording, meanings and definitions, because those are the things that I need the most quickly when I'm doing advocacy or something like that, right? Because when I need to quickly I'm like, all right, default judgment, what is the meaning of default judgment? When can the court set aside default judgment? Just having that there is helpful. What tabs are not going to do is provide you with a searchable way of seeing if you've covered something. This is why I like this, because my spreadsheet method, because I can just see it and I can search. I can go Control-F, set aside, or let's go aside. And then I can look for, or let's say I want to see every time a rule has must, and I want to make sure I've covered all the musts in the syllabus, or the mays. You can Control-F for may. So that's what tabbing won't give you. But what tabbing will give you is that visual representation of, oh, I covered that. Oh, I covered that. You see what I mean? Okay, you guys. Oh, Heidi, I'm so glad you find the spreadsheet satisfying. Honestly, I love satisfying working. Like when it's, I'm sure you guys have seen, if you've seen my videos on YouTube, when I vlogged me studying on the bar course, I had like a candle burning. I still have a candle right here. I love satisfying working, and it's very positive for the brain. So Heidi, thank you so much for the great feedback. And because, like I said, I love making digital things because I can edit them, amend them, do whatever you need. What I'm going to do, Flor, I wouldn't say worry. So can you just confirm to me who is studying for 2019 exams and who is not studying for it? Who has just started the course just now and who started the course beforehand? Like, so before this year and is like resitting or still sitting? Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want people to worry about differences in the syllabus, because honestly, we can even just go through it quickly now. When you want to see, so like these are all the same. Let me just put these side by side to each other. Let's do it now since we're here. And I don't want people to feel worried that their syllabus is like crazy different to a different syllabus. So side by side, at least they've given you, so it's the same 22 topics. Let me pull up the chat so I don't miss any of your messages. So it's the same 22 topics. General matters, limitation, pre-action conduct, commencing proceedings, parties, statements of case, multiple causes of action, counterclaims, and other additional claims, amendment, further information, default judgment and summary judgment, case management, sanctions and striking out, disclosure and inspection of documents, interim applications, interim payments and security, interim injunctions, offers to settle, evidence of fact, expert evidence, civil trial and evidence, judgments, orders and enforcement, costs and appeals. So all of those are the same. I'm going to be going through this just because I need to make sure that when I created the spreadsheets, I did create them based on, yes, Sarah, we'll go back through the navigation, no worries. I just want to make sure that people can see the content of the exams has stayed more like almost exactly the same. So here's a great question, because somebody just asked about which volume to use. So let's do this. So let's run through the basics of the white book again. There are two volumes of the white book, and there are also supplements of the white book. When you need to know which volume of the white book you need to look at, it will be written on the actual syllabus document. So limitation, the statutory provision for statutory provisions for limitation, it says here, Section 8 of Volume 2 of Civil Procedure, the White Book. And let me actually just run this back so you guys can see it here. Section 8 of Volume 2 of Civil Procedure, the White Book 2020. Same thing as 2019. Oh, Tiana says there's 2 versions of the 2021 syllabus. This reminds me of when I started the bar course and we had 2 versions of the syllabus. All right, let's reconcile this now. Okay, so let me pull up Tiana's and this one. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Ah, right. Oh, this is very interesting. When did they do this? Okay. Let's have a look. Don't panic, Flor. So, Flor, can you just clarify for me? Are you studying on have you just started the course? Okay, good. So if you've just started the course, this is your document. So the thing that makes it complicated is that currently, if you hadn't just started the course, you are studying one version of the syllabus. And if you started the course part-time before, you're also studying one part of the syllabus, one version of the syllabus. But if you started brand new just now, then you are studying this new syllabus. And so we're gonna have a look at this now, just to like make sure everyone is okay and aware. So what they've said is that it incorporates elements of the former RDoC syllabus, retains the structure of the former civil litigation syllabus, with the addition of 2 new sections on adjudicative and non-adjudicative mentions of alternative dispute resolution, to be found at sections 4 and 5. And paper 1, so they're giving you 2 assessments or 2 papers. They're going to give you a closed book assessment with all of the areas, and a second is an open book assessment where you're able to take it with you. Okay then, and they've also got ADR. So basically what they've done is combine it with ADR. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that there's, so you see here, so this is basically what they've added. I want to compare this so you guys can see the difference in the way that they've gone about assessing you this time. So you can see here where in the old syllabus, you just had these 3. They've added these 2. General principles of ADR and timing the use of ADR, and they've given the they've added these ADR principles into general matters. So when you can see up until here, they've just added the references they want you to look at for ADR. And if I'm not wrong, so you had CPR 1.1 to 1.4 before, so that's here. And they've now want you to look at commentary here. And they also want you to look at the ADR, the Jackson ADR handbook. So everyone who, so because my current version of the syllabus spreadsheets, I haven't put these two ADR, these extra ADR references. So that's what I'm actually gonna do now, as soon as we're off the call. I'm gonna make sure that these are in there. So currently, if you buy this current version of the spreadsheets, it's the same syllabus, but I need to add these amended sections. So if you just compare side by side, this is the way that they've done this. Before this, this was assessed in-house, so within the law school. So when you just compare them side by side, you can just see the differences. So there's no differences there. So here, what used to be commencing proceedings and part 7 and whatever, is now the ADR section. So they want you to look at adjudicative versions of ADR, so arbitration and expert determination. They've given you volume 2, so can you see here, and this is where we're going to go into volume 2 and when you know you need to use the 2. Oh, it's nearly 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to be fast. It's 3 o'clock. I'm going to be fast. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we went. Do you guys find me going through this helpful? Because if it's not helpful, I'll stop. Okay, good. Yeah, so the update of the syllabus spreadsheets, I'm going to do that today. So great, I'm glad this is helpful. So what's interesting here is that what's in volume 1 of the white book is going to cover, yeah, so the updates will come automatically through email. So volume 2 of the white book is where you're going to find specific information that isn't in the primary volume. So you can see here, they want you to look, again, it's the same principles that we've already discussed when you're reading the white book, 62.2 to 62.4 and 62.8, section 2E of volume 2. So whichever volume you're navigating through, if you're not completely confident on the page reference, so something else I wanted to show you was the table of cases, but oh, Fariha, that's very kind. So I will draw this all together. It's just, I was just a bit surprised with the ADR update, but actually it's good timing because I was just about to put up a bunch of ADR notes on the site. So this is good because I was gonna do this anyway. So, so you can see for these new syllabus topics, guys, volume 2 of the white book and the Jackson ADR handbook are important. Have you guys got copies of the Jackson ADR handbook? No, yes, no. Okay, so let me show you, you guys, how you can get a copy of all of the handbooks and stuff without having a physical copy. So we're going to go to Westlaw. This is not where I want to be. Oh, how do I get to library? I just want to get to Westlaw. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, let me show you where you can find, and you can do this on LexisNexis as well. So when you need a handbook, whether it's for civil or if it's for any of your option modules, you can find them here. So I do believe I haven't done this for a while, so just bear with me. Here we go. So what was it? ADR, what's it called? The Jackson ADR handbook. Jackson isn't available online. Ah, it's not available online. Wow. Well, I'm really sorry about that. But for anything else that is convenient, you go on books and you go through here and you can find what you need. So like, for example, Archbold, which is like a really important criminal one, it's all here. And you'll see, you'll be able to just read all of the references. I'm very sorry about Jackson not being available online, but if you can get yours physically, I'm not sure. So I find it very strange that your law school wouldn't provide it to you. Anyway, so you can see they've asked you to look at the discussion. Now, the thing about ADR, I'm just going to give some quick tips on ADR before we summarize and then wrap up. The thing with ADR is it's very subjective. It's got principles, like things that you need to know, but a lot of the ADR is, you know, weighing up pros and cons and you know, having a bit of an opinion, a bit of a view. So I would definitely make sure you're careful when it comes to ADR, to give yourself some time with it and to understand the practical realities of ADR as well. Because that's definitely what helped me a lot with the exam. Okay, so we're gonna go over everything we've discussed today, and we're gonna talk about, okay, City provides it digitally. Okay, so we're gonna go over everything that we've talked about today, and going over notes. Alina, the code should have been sent to you, but just for everyone here, this is the code to get 10% off your purchase. If you've already used this code, you can only use it once. But if you're in the mailing list, then don't worry, because I'm always sending you things. So let's go over everything we've covered and make sure that we talk about taking notes. Time flies with you guys. I didn't even realize it was already past 3. Okay, so we talked about, no, Danielle, you don't have to wait to purchase the syllabus spreadsheet, and I wouldn't recommend that you wait. I would say if you want to get started with the spreadsheet, get started now. The amendment that I send you is going to automatically send to your email, and then you can just add it into what you've already been using. Or if you're really lazy, like me, you can just copy and paste it in. And if you're also, I'll show you as well how you can. Does everyone here use Microsoft Word? Yeah, you all use Word? Good. Because the spreadsheets, I've put them in a standard format. But whether or not you want to convert them to a Google Sheet or keep them as Excel, you're able to squidge together files and merge them. So I've done that before where, for example, I've been working on, I have a drafting template that I used to use all the time. And sometimes I would go to class and I would make amendments in class, you know, after I've, you know, whilst I'm listening to the teacher or whatever. And then I would go home and I would merge the amendments into my new document. So if I sound like I'm speaking a foreign language, the summary of what I'm saying is the syllabus spreadsheets are still fine for you to purchase. And for the people on the 2020 syllabus, I am going to give you, I'm going to update it anyway, so that everyone will get an email. If you're not on the 2020 syllabus, ignore it. But if you are on the 2020 syllabus, then you can just get the updated version. Yeah, criminal is going to be updated too. So thank you very much. But yeah, if you want to get started on the spreadsheets, then please go ahead. And like I showed you, I wanted to show you the syllabus because I wanted you to see where the differences are. And the difference isn't in the civil litigation syllabus. So all of that syllabus is the same. The only thing they've done is add more ADR to the syllabus. So I will add those amendments for all of you very special people who just started the course. Lee, that's a great question actually about my notes. And that's a great question about the flashcards, Kay. Okay, let me summarize, let me wrap up the white book stuff, and then we'll get to these last remaining questions, okay guys? So, all right, we talked about reading the white book. When you're reading the white book, understand where you're reading Cpr Rule and when you're reading commentary. You know that you're reading a rule because it will just be 13.1, 13.2, 13.3. And the syllabus document is also going to tell you whether they want you to just read the wording of the rule or if they want you to go and look at the commentary. Now, you know you need to look at the commentary as soon as the paragraphs have subs. So as soon as it's 13.3.1, 13.3.2, then you know you need to read the paragraphs underneath the main rule. What do you miss if you don't read those paragraphs? You are going to miss critical information that's going to provide you with case law, the leading case law. I hear you ask, but Blessing, what should we do when we know a case that we want to find, but we don't know where in the commentary it is? That is a great question. If you go to your white book contents page and you move through, after the main contents, which is going to tell you, what's in and where, and yeah, and after the additional online content bit, there is a table of cases. And my recommendation for you guys is to put a big sticky note right here, so you know all of the cases that appear in this volume of the white book are listed here. They are listed by alphabetically, and it will tell you exactly where in the white book you can find it. When is that helpful? That is helpful when they require you to know a case by name. So sometimes they will say, we need you to know this case by name. One particular case is Denton, and I do believe that Denton is in here. Yeah. So let's say you hear in class, or you hear, let's say you hear in class or you read it on your syllabus document or whatever, that you need to look for a case. Don't cry, go to the table of cases. So that's my advice on making sure that you make the most of the white book. Now, I mentioned before, what can the white book give you? CPR, practice direction, and case law. We know where the case law is. It's in the commentary. And we know a quick way of getting to the case law is to use our table of cases. Fabulous. So once we've done that, where's the practice directions? So the practice directions I talked about is how you'll do things. How do you meet the rule? And the practice directions will be at the back of whatever part of the CPR you're looking at. So if you're looking at CPR Rule 16, then the practice direction for CPR Part 16 is going to be at the back. So just flip through part 16 until you hit practice direction. And my recommendations for taking notes. So the first stage of taking notes with the white book is to remember, what are you writing your notes for? You're writing your notes for practical application. So oftentimes when it came to making notes for civil, I would create diagrams. So let me just show you. I recently made available on the website some some syllabus notes for civil litigation. So I'm going to show these to you. Just give me one moment. Let me share my screen with you. So these are some of the notes that I've now made available. So this shows you how I made notes on the CPR. So what I would like to do is keep the actual CPR highlighted. And the easiest way to do this is, if you don't already have a set of notes to work from, my recommendation would be to use your lecture notes or your lecture slides to start making your notes. Oh, thank you, Fariha. I'm so glad the notes have been helpful for you. The notes are available as well on the website. Let me send you the link. So all of the study notes I create, will I publish for criminal? I will publish notes for criminal litigation as well. So basically, to give you an idea, you guys, I have a huge Google Drive full of notes and flashcards and diagrams and worksheets that I created for myself on the bar course and for my students that I've been tutoring on the bar course. And I am just going through on the weekends and in the evenings, getting them uploaded onto the site for you to download. And the reason, like I said, I like to keep them as digital downloads is so that I can make changes, I can, you know, update you. Lee, the notes for Laura, I have separate ADR notes. So I actually have a huge bundle of ADR notes, which I'm currently editing to put online. So what I'll do is do a bundle of the civil litigation notes and the ADR notes. And I'll do a discount bundle on both so that you can just get them both. But people are still, I think there are still people revising for the standalone ADR exam. So I'm gonna just keep them separate for now. Yeah, Alina, I haven't done every section of the CPR, of the civil litigation syllabus, because there were 22 sections of the syllabus, and some of my notes aren't cute. So what I decided to do was to do the first batch of notes, and then all of the missing syllabus sections, I will be putting up the notes on the website as well for those. Okay, so this is how I made my notes, you guys. So the structure of my notes all follows the same thing. I do the title of the topic, and then all of these italicized and underlined sections are the topics and subtopics. And for example, adding claimants, I put adding claimants, and then I sort of highlight the bits I need to remember, and then I highlight the relevant CPR. And what this helps me do is that when I've highlighted it would be when I've ticked yes on my syllabus spreadsheet under CPR marked. So once I've highlighted it, that means I've marked it. And then once I've made these notes, that means I'll also mark on the spreadsheet that I've written notes. So I'll go through and I'll do all of my things and I'll write my notes like this. Sometimes I'll just take the entire section of the CPR because it's easier. This is also something else that Anais, have you already used the discount code, Anais? Let me just change something quickly. Oh, actually, I'll do it by the end of the call. So let me show you this. So you can see as well in my notes, sometimes writing down words isn't going to be helpful. Sometimes you need something visual. And this is where I would make these flow charts, because I want to see the flow of how things move and where people can go. Which is also a great question, because this leads me nicely into showing you the civil litigation timeline worksheet, which I'm going to show you now. So this civil litigation timeline worksheet, it looks a bit scary when you first see it, but I promise you it makes loads of sense. So I created this because I like to see the flow of civil cases. So when you start here at pre-action, you move across through the different stages of a civil case. Let me get my, so here we go. So you move sort of this way through. But as you can see, even though you go from pre-action all the way to disclosure, there's all these like random little things that can happen as you go along. So between pre-action and actually issuing the claim form, you could, oh, that's a great tip, Heidi. Simple Mind Light is a free app on Macs, and it's great for creating mind maps. Yeah, so I would really recommend, you don't always need to sit and write out CPR notes. Going through the process of creating mind maps can be helpful. So this particular worksheet works very well when you're trying to understand what happens at all the different stages of a civil litigation case. And I've also created a blank version of this document so that you can test yourself. Now, someone asked me, do I make digital notes or do I make paper notes? I make digital notes, and I'm going to open up my OneNote to show you the way I was making notes on the bar course. Oh, I don't think I've got it downloaded. Oh, God. Okay, I don't have it downloaded, but I am actually going to be doing a whole workshop on taking digital notes. Let me take you back here. So yeah, this is how you can, so this is also different ways I would order my knowledge. So like I said, these are all available in my civil litigation notes, which you can download from the site. And not every syllabus topic is covered here. I'll actually show you which ones I've covered. So here we've got syllabus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 16, and 21. Remember that syllabus 4 was based on the 2019 syllabus. So what was syllabus 4 is now, where's their contents page? Is now syllabus 6, because you know they squidged in that 4 and 5. So don't worry about that, I'll update it. But this is what's included. So I'll renumber these, but this is what's included: party, statements of case, multiple causes of action, summary judgment, case management, sanctions and striking out, disclosure, offers to settle, and costs. So I've said before, you know, I actually didn't want to create notes initially. I felt quite apprehensive about sharing my notes because I didn't know, you know, it's always worrying when you want to create resources to help people study well independently. But sometimes my fear is that if I give people notes or make notes available, people are going to rely just on my notes and they're not going to do their own work. And when I tutor students privately, I always say this to them: there are no shortcuts when it comes to the CPR and the white book. There is no easy way out. You're going to have to read this white book. I do tutor online. Let me send you the link to book tutoring with me. Yeah, so I've copied this. So if you want to book private tutoring with me, it's all here. So just check there, all of the pricing, the different sessions I do and so on is all available. But what I always say to my students is that everything that you use for your revision, whether it's notes, a revision guide or whatever, it should aid your independent study. It can never replace it. And so I want you guys to remember that all of the notes that I provide you will never, ever make up for the work that you need to do on your own. But what it will do is make it easier for you to navigate and give you something to help. So I was nervous about making notes available, but I've done it now. And I hope that they're helpful, and I will be also doing the second update. But that will give you an idea of how you can make effective notes. So guys, before we wrap up today, let me summarize. Working through this bad boy of a white book was made 150 times easier with my syllabus spreadsheet. If you're interested in getting the syllabus spreadsheet and you're on the 2020 course, the extra sections of the syllabus on ADR, I will be sending as an amendment. So if you've purchased it, you'll get it automatically. So if you wanted to buy it straight away because the civil litigation syllabus is the same, then do that and you'll get the amendment from me. In terms of Jackson, I'm really sorry it's not online. I hoped it had been online, but apply the exact same principles of going through the white book with Jackson. And when in doubt, the syllabus document is your friend. And if there's anything you take away from today, you guys, read the white book commentary. The most difficult questions in the exam are based on the white book commentary. So if you want to be getting those marks, you're going to check the commentary. Fariha, yeah, don't worry. This workshop has been recorded, and I'll send the recording around to you guys. If you want private tutoring with me, the link there is available. And let me know, is there anything, oh, ethics. Hold on one second. Okay, the flashcards I've created, they're ready, but I just need to figure out the format I'm going to give them to you. So there's an app that I use for flashcards, and once I've gotten everything sorted out with them, because this is like really important to me that it's easiest. Yes, Quizlet. So I'm trying to get my flashcards available up on Quizlet. So please give me some time for the flashcard. Similarly with ethics, again, ethics was something I was really apprehensive about providing resources for. I do have a blog post on ethics on Blessing at the Bar, so check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna do an ethics workshop. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending this afternoon with me. If you haven't, these are the links to the main things that you need to see. This is www.blessingatthebar.com. That is my blog for aspiring and student barristers. It covers my experiences. My YouTube channel, Blessing at the Bar, also has vlogs and insight into what I was doing on the bar course and what I've been getting up to since. Shop.blessingatthebar.com is where all of my study resources are for you guys. And everyone who's joined the mailing list gets 10% off. I am aware that there's been some trouble with the code. So here's another code for you to use. And if you've already used your mailing list code, you can use this code again. I love giving people discount codes. Sometimes I have to remember that I'm running a business. Sometimes you have to remember you're running a business. I'm just teasing you guys, but here is another discount code for you to use if you've had any trouble with the other one. Thank you so much. I hope I've been helpful. Whatever you need from me, you guys, send me a message. Tell me if there's anything you want me to update in any of the items you've purchased from the store, and I'll do that. And yeah, I hope that you have a happy reading week. If you've not been able to have a happy reading week, take a day off. You can have a day off. You deserve it. And big love to you and good luck with your studying. And thank you so much for your lovely messages. You guys have had such a great time with you. I've almost forgotten I'm ill. Oh, yeah, smash some Civil, Heidi. Do you know what, you guys? And let me send you a playlist. I don't know if you guys like listening to music when you work, but I had this really great playlist that I used to play all the time when I was studying at uni and on the bar course. It's real chill vibes. So here's a nice little chill vibes playlist. Good luck with the bar course. You guys have got this. I will see you either on Instagram or in an email or on a YouTube video. Send me a DM if you need anything. Good luck. Thank you so much that this has been helpful. And I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye.